Hey guys, this is Randy, host of the Bunnies on BZcast, the podcast, the Bunnies on BZcast. Today's recording is a YouTube exclusive recording, as you guys can see me. I'm going to try to do this really quickly. I'm doing this while I'm supposed to also be getting ready for work. Big news as far as Bunnies and media / television / movies are concerned. I didn't even know this was in the works. I'm someone who reads a lot of movie news, from different sources, and there is a new interpretation of Watership Down, the book that everyone knows about, the very graphic and violent book about the rabbits forced out of their home and forced to try to survive. It's about just rabbit violence and survival and friendship, and I didn't even know this was happening, but I saw this last night. I'm recording this on April 28th, 2016. You guys actually should be seeing this shortly after I record it. Trying to keep this around 20 minutes long, giving myself about 10 minutes to keep getting ready for work. But I saw this last night. Source is Nerdist, which is, Chris Hardwick. For all you guys I know, host of The Talking Dead, at midnight on Comedy Central. All around, just one of those guys who knows nerdy stuff. I came across it on my own personal Twitter page, and then I said, "Wow, that's big news." The interpretation of Watership Down is coming to. Is being co-produced by Netflix and the BBC. It will be on Netflix. Strictly for North America, it will be on Netflix. And then for overseas, it will be on BBC One and what is being labeled a mini-series, I believe, as I'm looking at the link right now. Yeah, I believe it's like a mini-series. So maybe like 5 or 6 episodes. I think that would be kind of labeled as a miniseries. Maybe like 4 episodes, somewhere in that range. I'm really intrigued by the cast. we don't really get to talk about movies that much on this show. For all the movie stuff that I personally look into and read and talk about with friends. This is not a movie, but this is something completely different. It usually with rabbits and movies and media, it's like a fun comedy movie like Zootopia and there was a one with like the Easter Bunny and the guy from Smallville hopped, was it Hop, something like that. Usually they're movies that are kids movies. If you guys know Watership Down, that is nowhere a kids movie. It's pretty much adult and teenager, young teenager, I guess. Again, this is being co-produced by the BBC and Netflix. I'm very intrigued by the Netflix part. I'm someone who has Netflix and their track record. They're building a very strong track record of taking shots. Their creative team and their team at the top. Taking creative shots, taking creative risks, and it's panning out really well. It's working out really well for them. A lot of examples for their original content. Narcos, House of Cards, that's their baby right now. Orange is the New Black, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Making a Murderer. Small little point about Making a Murderer, HBO passed that up. So as much as I think it's different though, because I think HBO wanted it more as like a 2 or 3 hour documentary rather than like a 10 episode, every episode being an hour long, series. But still, Netflix saw what they could do with Making a Murderer, and they struck gold with that. Making a Murderer, at least, and what it seems like in the States. Was super huge. It was the talk. Again, Netflix is different because all the episodes get released at once rather than a TV show. You see a new episode every week. So, but still, people were still talking about it, and it was super crazy. It got people really, really upset and mad. If you don't know what Making a Murderer is, I know I'm going off topic. To sum it up, it's Wisconsin's justice system failing. I'll sum it up like that, but it's incredibly infuriating to watch someone who's on trial for murder, and it is the most bogus thing ever. It's in a little time period where the technology wasn't advanced, like the DNA testing, and wasn't as advanced. Some of the testing, like there was DNA testing, but some of the other advanced testing that we have today just wasn't there yet to help, to give this guy a better case. And he was reamed. He didn't have a chance. I can't sum it up any better than that without giving anything away. It's definitely worth checking out. It'll make your blood boil. It does a great job of that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Again, HBO has got very good documentaries, and they know when they've got a good one. So I'm just using that as an example of something that HBO passed up because they wanted to do it in a different style. Netflix said, yes, we'll run with this, and boom, like I said, it was the talk. It was like the biggest social media conversation for months was Making a Murderer. So I'm very interested in that because, like I said, Netflix is in charge. I just gave you that long list of shows that are very successful right now. I think Orange is the New Black is like been greenlit for like, I don't know how many seasons have happened right now. I don't watch it. Greenlit for like another 2 or 3 seasons, which is really, really good for them. And I've heard it's a great show. So the big news when it comes to Watership Down that was posted last night was that there was 2 major casts, 2 major people, actors that were casted. The first one is John Boyega. He is Finn from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. He might have other stuff on his resume, but that is by far the biggest one. I personally enjoyed him. I'm not thinking he's like this great top-notch actor that they reeled in, but for the character that they wanted him to portray in The Force Awakens, I thought he did a pretty good job. Again, he's Finn in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. James McAvoy. This one I really like a lot. He is Professor X, the new younger Professor X from X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past, the last 2 X-Men movies. And he's he's Professor X in the X-Men Apocalypse movie coming out May 27th. I know he's also had other movies, but those are the 2 notable ones that everyone kind of knows him about right now. And he does a very good job of doing a young Professor X. A good actor. I like this casting a lot. Nicholas Hoult, also another X-Men. He is Hank/Beast, the big blue hairy guy from Days of Future Past and X-Men First Class. And he's also Beast in the X-Men Apocalypse movie coming out at the end of May. I think May 27th. Ben Kingsley, which is also a good one. I'm assuming right now that Ben Kingsley, whatever the villain's name is, he's the villain. He's voicing the main villain. I could be wrong, but because it doesn't say what role each actor was casted for, but I'm almost 100% guessing that Ben Kingsley is the villain. He plays a very good villain in another range of movies. Most recently that I can think of off the top of my head, he was the villain in Iron Man 3. I don't remember. It wasn't particularly that great of a movie, but he played a good villain. He was like a terrorist leader or something in that movie. So again, I think these are all really good things. I'm very intrigued. There's no particular, as I'm looking through the link right now, again, the link is courtesy of Nerdist.com, about a release date. I'll try to post the link in the YouTube description, in the YouTube video. It's also, the link is on our Facebook page. I posted about this late last night, because I saw this late last night when I was scrolling through my own personal Twitter. And so just go back a post on Facebook if I don't post this on the YouTube description, to see, to look at the link and read some of the details. Oh, I'm sorry, here, it's right here. The big names, this is like the second paragraph in, so quoting Nerdist.com. The big names will play after they say the casting at the end of the first paragraph. There is another person, Gemma Arterton. I'm not personally sure who the person is, so I can't give you information. But next paragraph. The big names will play 4 different Rabbit characters in the 4-part, so there'll be 4 episodes, 4-part CG animated series, which will air in the UK on BBC One and in North America exclusively to Netflix. It's being written by Tom Bidwell, My Mad Fat Diary, that's something he's known for, and directed by Norm Murrow. He directed 300 Rise of the Empire, the second 300 movie. Again, that doesn't, for as far as the acting and not the acting, the team around it, I don't really know much about My Mad Fat Diary. And 302, it was an okay movie. 300 Rise of the Empire. It was if you saw the first 300 and you saw a sequel, it's probably what you expected out of a sequel. It wasn't anything super surprising outside of, not really anything too surprising. It's literally, if you imagined how a 300 sequel will work if you saw the first one, it's pretty much what you would think the second one is. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, but it was okay. It was a violent, bloody movie with, blood flying everywhere and limbs flying everywhere, and 3D and big CGI moments, and yeah. So that's what you expected out of a 300 movie. So yeah, that's basically the big news for today. I do have a podcast recording coming up this Saturday. I was going to save that for that recording, but I wanted to do a YouTube exclusive recording because it's so new. Like I said, I just saw this news last night. The author of the article on Nerdist.com is Kyle Anderson, and he just posted this yesterday. It doesn't say what time of the day he posted it, but he just posted it yesterday. So again, brand new news. We're getting to sum this up real quick before I go and say anything else. We're getting a Watership Down, new interpretation of it on Netflix, and being co-produced by BBC and Netflix. For people in North America, that will be exclusively on Netflix, and then for everywhere else, I would assume overseas, it'll be on BBC One. Dustin, I was talking to Dustin last night, and he said, and he brought up a good point, that there might be some concern that it might be toned down a little due to BBC One not really having that much, graphic violence. And I said, well, they could make 2 different versions of this. They could make a version for Netflix to make it a little darker and graphic, because if you've seen House of Cards, if you've seen Jessica Jones, if you've seen Daredevil, they're not afraid to be violent and a little gory with their content on there. I'm sure Narcos is the same way. Just trying to think of violent movies. I don't know if Orange is the New Black, if that's violent or not. But those are 3 examples off the top of my head where I'm not afraid to show blood, a little bit of blood, and people being dismembered and stuff like that. So they could make two different versions. An example of this right now is Batman vs Superman. As some of you might not know, for their Blu-ray release, which will be like 4 or 5 months from now, they made a rated R version just for their Blu-ray and I'm assuming DVD release, but for their Blu-ray release, that's an extra like 30 minutes long. So it's like a 3-hour rated R version, Batman vs Superman. But they stuck with only releasing the PG-13 version, releasing that in theaters. I know that's not exactly the same thing, but that's the only example off the top of my head. It's been done like that a million times before with movies. Comedies are a perfect example. It kind of died down. I haven't really seen it done in a while. Perfect example was like those American Pie movies. They were rated R in theaters, and then you would get on DVD. You know, when DVD was big, you would get like the unrated version, so it would be some extra language, extra nudity, extra drug use. That was big for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, and I really haven't seen that. I could be wrong, maybe they're still doing it, but I haven't really seen anyone do that in a while. But that's a perfect example. Comedies like I said, American Pie are a perfect example. I think more of the later American Pie movies are an example of them doing R-rated versions for DVD releases. Again, Batman vs Superman, the latest one to make a 3-hour, basically, it's an extra 20 or 30 minutes long R-rated version of their movie just for their Blu-ray release. So I think Netflix and BBC could do that, where they make two different versions, to where, it also happens in movies all the time. I don't know if anyone from China is watching, but there are certain things, that I believe are little tidbits of movies that are edited out, and I believe in China, because they have strict laws of what they want to show in their movies. And they only show a certain amount of movies a year. So like the big blockbuster movies, like, you know, a big one coming up like Captain America Civil War, which is essentially another Avengers movie, but they're not calling it that, is gonna go there. But I know I believe they have to do like a little bit of extra editing to edit some little things out that would be offensive to their culture, or, you know, for what they just have more strict rules on what they want to show in their movies and, in their TV shows. So this is done all the time. I think they might do the same thing when, again, there's no release date on this. I would expect, more news to pile in the next couple of weeks, maybe in the next month or so, as far as like a release date. Usually when you announce casting, and you're doing a CG animated series, I'd say you would start your recording or / filming within the next, 5 or 6 months. So I'm assuming we're getting this sometime in 2017. Don't know when, but that's my guess. Sometime in 2017. If they're just announcing casting, maybe you start recording in the next couple months. Get your team to do the animation, and then also has to be edited, marketed, trailers, and so forth. So sometime in 2017, that's my guess of when this is coming out. Unless they fast track this and they release this at like the end of the year in 2016. But my safe guess is somewhere maybe early or mid 2017. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I have a podcast recording this Saturday. It is with a guest of a particular, like, a clothing shop who is doing 10% of their profit goes to nonprofit, Rabbit It's too early in the morning. I'm drawing a blank. Rabbit shelters and rescues and so forth. So we're going to talk about their company, and I can't wait to talk to them about it because that's a really cool thing. They seem particularly new. They just popped up on Twitter sometime in the last couple of weeks, it seems like, last month or so. So I can't wait to check that, release that to you guys sometime next week, sometime in the first week of May. And then right around the corner, as today's the 28th, a new issue will be dropping the 1st of May. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Don't forget about that. Again, that's pretty much it for me, you guys. Go back. I don't know if I'll have time to post this in the description. I got to leave for work in like 10 minutes. But again, go back to the previous Facebook post, and you'll see the link if you want to do, read up on what I didn't read from the link and didn't tell you about in the link. For the casting news for Watership Down. Again, I'm very intrigued, and I can't wait to check this out. Thank you guys for watching. If you have a YouTube channel, please subscribe, share it with your friends. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.